Am I the meanest?
Pawn's drunk.
Am I the prettiest?
Pawn's drunk.
Am I the baddest mofo low down around this town?
Pawn's drunk.
Well, who am I?
Pawn's drunk.
Who am I?
Pawn's drunk.
I can't hear you.
Pawn's drunk. AKA Mr. Moo. Won't shine himself.
Of Harlem.
You already know this is Pawn Drunk Boxing, aka Mr. Moo Shine himself, aka El Adobo, aka El Sazon. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are this side of heaven. God bless you all. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all already know, man, boxing is lit. Boxing with the great momentum. Boxing with the great historic fight this past weekend. Y'all already know yesterday we chopped it up for a couple of times, for a few. Just for a few, probably like an hour or so. Chocolatito versus Estrada. A lot of people feel like Chocolatito did win the fight. I do feel he won the fight as well. 115, 113. That was the scorecard. And today, man, gonna be joined by Boxing Wave. Everybody subscribe to the channel. Boxing Wave doing this thing. Gonna join us in a couple minutes or so. Hold on, let me fix this thing up. Smash the like button. All right, let me say this. Hold on. Let me fix all these wires, man. All these wires, man. Pero un momento, señores y señoras. Say what's up to the people out there. What's up to the people out there? Raw Boxing TV. Everybody subscribe to Raw Boxing TV. Subscribe to Raw Boxing TV. Ron Finkel in the building. What's good? Joshua, BK, Paul, Tycho TV, P. Honey. What's good? Ham, Rubsky, Victor. Let's go. Rich, Mora, dímelo, mi hermano. What's good, everybody? So yeah, a lot of great things in the sport of boxing. A lot of great things in the sport of boxing, and more boxing to come. Good boxing to come. So of course, this weekend we got Vergil Ortiz. Vergil Ortiz. I'm thinking about Victor for Vergil Ortiz versus Maurice Hooker, welterweight matchup, and a great step up for Vergil Ortiz. We're going to be breaking that fight down. We're going to be breaking the future of the welterweight division, in which is still a prestige division in the sport of boxing, and the prime fighter. We already heard about Danny Garcia wanting to move to 154, win the campaign on 154, winning the fight, Keith and Thurman on the rematch at 154. I think that's good. I think he's fought everybody he needed to fight at 154, unless if he's going to give these young bucks a chance, you know. I would like to see Danny Garcia probably give the likes of Vergil Ortiz or Boots Ennis a chance. You already know both of them is from Philadelphia. Shadow Ghost in the building. Shadow Ghost. Everybody subscribe to Shadow Ghost 81 in the building. Guido in the building. What's good? Dr. Mofongo, dímelo, mi hermano. Mofongo de shrimp, mofongo de carne, mofongo de pollo, mofongo de todo, de tuna fish, mofongo de tuna fish, coño. What's good? Yeah. Let's go. What's good, my brother, the Boxing Wave?
Yo, I just turned it on and you were speaking Spanish. And you was just saying what you were saying, and it was just funny.
He like,
what's good, bro?
Don't tell me he got me. I gotta speak Spanish.
What's going on?
I'm doing great. What about you, my brother?
Chilling. Just got back from Florida. You know, spending some family
time,
yacht,
man.
Yeah, man.
I see you with the blue. I see you with the blue water, man.
A little side
with the gray water. You got us out here with the gray water.
Yeah, it was my pop's 60th birthday, so we went down there and spent some time with family and everything.
Happy birthday!
So, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
That's what's up, man. How you feel about the sport of boxing right now?
I mean, it's good. You know, I'm trying to. First of all, rest in peace to Marvin Hagler. the last few days I kind of just been watching some of his stuff. I was on a plane watching some of his stuff and just watch some of the fights, and it just reminded me of how things was at a certain point. Like, when he was the best fighter, like you knew he was the man at middleweight. Whereas and now, every single division, you kind of not sure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you moved up to middleweight, you had to see him, at some point. And I feel like that's part of the issues that we having in the sport right now. And a lot of fans, they kind of let it slide,
Yeah.
I don't know,
I mean, I think a lot of fans. I think there's fans that don't let it slide, but I think that there's other fans that just want to live the moment at the same time. It's like I
Right.
feel like there's a great momentum in boxing.
Yeah.
I could
Yeah.
always nitpick the past. I could always be like, well, the welterweight division wasn't like this, and the middleweight division, and the heavyweight division, and of
Yeah.
course we could degrade if we always gonna match. If we gonna always match up greatness to the
Yeah.
present, the present
Yeah.
is always gonna lose.
Yeah. No, it
So
is. It is. Yeah, I try not to go too much into it. What I will say is that I'm a little excited now because we weren't getting a lot of fights since last year. And a lot of fighters was catching COVID, and then a lot of fights were rescheduled, and we weren't getting a lot of stuff. So I mean, I'm kind of glad that the schedule actually looks really good. And I was just looking at the schedule just real quick just to see what else was coming up, just in case we talked about the fights. And the schedule from here on is solid.
yeah,
So I am excited going into the summer, like especially if we get AJ and Fury. That's crazy.
that's the craziest.
Yeah,
Let me
that's
get.
the
Oh,
craziest.
what's good? What's good, Rich, bro? You need to be a essential boxing hour. Yeah, man, we need that. Probably got to dedicate all the good looking now. I appreciate it, at Rich. I appreciate you. So man, look, I think the year began and ended well with the
Mm-hmm.
December 31st. We did have Ioka and Tanaka, and then a couple
Yeah,
of days later we did have Ryan Garcia and
Luke Campbell.
Luke Campbell,
Right.
and leading up to, and then going to, and even right before that we did have Triple G, Anthony Joshua, and Canelo Alvarez fighting on
Yeah.
that same
Yeah.
like. So
Yeah.
I think
Canelo fought twice in a short period of time. I mean, no one cared about the Yildirim fight, but I mean, at least he fought Callum Smith, and Smith was undefeated. I mean, that was a good, solid fight.
yeah,
It was a good fight. It is what it is. People complain what we are. I mean, we all have. I mean, I wasn't complaining, but I think we all just have preferences on who we want to see Canelo face
yeah.
first. But
if
that
if
was
he
a
has a
fight that,
plan,
yeah, that was a solid fight. Some people may say they wanted to see Plant first. They wanted to see Saunders first. Some people are saying Benavidez. But if he happens to, he might end up fighting them all. We just gotta wait and see how that goes down. Or he might fight one of the guys moving up. People still want to see Jamal Charlo, Andre, stuff like that. So
true.
we gotta see.
And it's not like he didn't ask for the Plant fight. Plant was he just wasn't ready for him.
Yeah, Plant. I think there was something thrown at the team Plant maybe a couple of times.
Yeah.
I think it was just more about timing. But the fight is gonna happen. I think they're gonna work it out, especially because Canelo is kind of like a free agent. Yes, he still has a close relationship with the zone, and he is with Eddie and stuff. But I think he can move around. I think he's doing something maybe similar to what Cotto was doing at the end of his career. Cotto was doing that where he was kind of like moving his own way. And I think once you reach a certain status, you probably should do that.
Yeah.
You don't want to get stuck with anyone.
Yeah. The only I'm all for the boxers at one point of their career, empower themselves and actually move the way they want to move.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, if they pick in the challenges and things of that nature, the only thing I won't want a fighter to do, I don't care what level you on, is the fighter running their own training camp. Once the fighter runs his own training camp and it's not the trainer, I think that's when everything goes downhill.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely true. Yeah, I think that's one thing that you kind of gotta go. I don't know. I don't know. I guess as a fighter, as far as seeing what they're doing and knowing fighters and stuff personally, I feel like they need to somewhat. They probably need to be with someone they don't like. That's sort of
Probably
just
they don't like
yeah,
but respect.
yeah. Because we saw what happened just now with Wilder and Mark Breedlin and him talking about, what's weird about that? Like, I didn't make any videos about that during that time. I kind of just like ignored all of that. But
Yeah.
I remember listening to a Breedlin interview maybe a few years ago where he was kind of saying, like, he doesn't listen to me. He doesn't do what he wants. And he was kind of saying this a while back. And, when he said it recently, everybody was talking about it like, yo, that's messed up. But I don't think they ever had great chemistry. And I think a fighter really, really needs that,
Yeah, I mean, it's the way that he was performing at the same time he was knocking everybody out. So it was hard for any. That's like when you shoot in the shot and the coach be like, "What? No!" But it goes in, and he's like,
yeah, Steph Curry all the time.
Yeah, exactly. I think
him.
and I think that's the dilemma when it came with Deontay Wilder and Breeden. Is like, how can he ain't doing what I want him to do, but he knocking the dude out? So it's like.
Yeah, Wilder is one of those. One thing I say about Wilder, and people think that like I'm the biggest Wilder hater and everything. I actually enjoy watching his fights because they're so shocking. Like when you're just waiting for the knockout. It's like the Arthur Spilka fight where Spilka was giving him a really good fight. Like he was exposing him and he was outboxing. He was winning rounds. I don't know what the judges had it, but people that were watching it like, yo, this dude Spilka is giving him some good boxing lessons. And then he hit him, and then this dude was like almost dead the way he was laying there. Like,
yeah,
Wilder is one of those dudes that you just, unless you knock him out, it's always a fight.
Facts. Let me get this. Jermaine, what's good? Jermaine, good looking out with that hooker plus 700 versus Ortiz minus 1200 over under 7.
Yeah, man.
I got Vergil Ortiz. We're gonna be talking about that little in a bit.
Let's talk about it.
Ice Nice Johnny's been sneak dissing you, Punch. Just letting you know, bro. It's all right. Don't worry about that, man. Good looking out. Good looking out, brother. So yeah, man, this weekend, Vergil Ortiz and Maurice Hooker, and of course everybody liking that he's taking another good, step up fight to be tested.
Yes,
and this is one of the good things that people critique Golden Boy Promotions, but it's not about Golden Boy Promotions. They know how to give you that step up fight.
And you know what? You're saying that, but I think they're really confident in Vergil Ortiz.
Oh hell yeah!
Because. You can say this about any promoter, Golden Boy, Top Rank, whatever. When they're really confident in their fighter, they're more willing to throw them in there with the wolves. You know what I'm saying? And I think Hooker is, he lost in everything, but he was a recent champ, and it's not like he's washed up. He's still young, and he's coming off a good knockout win. And it's a dangerous fight for someone like, let's say Vergil let's just say he's overrated.
Okay.
This will be the fight he would get exposed in if he is overrated.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I like the fight, because this is the proper fight. Just like Jaron Ennis, he's going to be fighting Lipinets.
Yeah.
The same thing. That is a fight where someone can actually expose you, because Lipinets, we've seen what he's done. We've seen him retire Lamont Peterson. We've seen him go into a good fight with Mikey. Yeah, he lost to Mikey, but he gave Mikey a tough fight. So I like that. Exactly. I like both of these fights.
Yeah, I hope that the Boots Ennis fight is like for or elimination fight. I hope that's in the contract, this elimination fight, because I think that he's in that step, to get.
He's a little behind Ortiz right now as far as ranking. Ortiz is at the top of the WBO. I pulled it up right here. At the WBO, he's right under Shawn Porter. So I know this fight here for Ortiz is some kind of like international WBO thing or whatever. He's already in position.
I'm mad about that though. I even tweeted the WBO because he was number 2 for the whole year in the
Yeah.
WBO. Sean Porter was not ranked in the WBO.
Oh yeah.
He was not
When
ranked.
When did they do that though?
Well, I'm gonna show you right here. Watch, I'm gonna show you right here because I was
Because I recently ran on a rant about the sanctioning bodies and their rankings after Canelo beat up Yoder on them, and I'm like, yo, they just magically place people in certain positions at time. Not saying Sean Porter ain't the top dog, but they're real funny with that.
Fact. Watch. Check this out. Check this out. So I don't know if you could see it. You see, this is March 2020.
Danny Garcia, y'all, Vergil Ortiz number 2, Mikey number 3, and Maurice Hooker number 4.
You see that? You don't see no Sean Porter nowhere. You don't see Sean Porter anywhere. And matter of fact, if you go check it out whenever you got the time, he's not even ranked in the top 15. He's not ranked at all in the WBO. He's still ranking the WBC around that time. And then he go, let me see if it's this one, July. Then look at July. You got Danny Swift Garcia still because he haven't fought Errol Spence. You still got Vergil Ortiz number 2, Mikey Garcia 3. Then number 4, remember, used to be Maurice Hooker, right? Yeah. Now it's Sean Porter, number 4 out of nowhere, right? Yeah. Because he fought who was it he fought? Formella? Was it for the IBO? For IBO. Right? So then we move over to that's July 2020. Hold on. July 2020. We go to August 2020. Now look at Sean Porter, look at Vergil Ortiz.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm saying, man. This is not, and listen, that's no disrespect to Sean Porter.
No disrespect.
He's a top dog.
Yeah.
But how do they just move people around? You showing month by month.
Exactly.
Damn near. And in some in between those months, there's no action going on.
There was no action.
Yeah,
there was no action. So I was like, okay, if Danny Swift Garcia wasn't mandatory position, of course he was never ordered, but a mandatory position for the Buck Crawford. But he chose to fight Errol Spence. So who steps in? So it's Vergil Ortiz. I mean, he's been in that second position for the whole year, but then the politics of boxing.
Yo, you know the funny shit about it? They be moving fighters up when they don't even want to move up sometimes. So I think sometimes some of these fighters don't even be ready to fight. They don't even be ready to fight. Like, they don't want to do it. And that's why this whole Sean Porter, I'm kind of waiting to see. Because listen, if Sean Porter and Terrence Crawford fight, that's great. But sometimes I'm like, yo, do they both really want to fight each other? Does Sean really want to fight right now? I mean, because look, this is what makes me think sometimes and question, if Sean really wants to fight. And I'm not saying Sean is scared of him, but I just know that they have a relationship and they're cool.
Yeah.
So that all comes into play. No matter what he says, I'm not talking about what he says in interviews. Yeah. When you blame it on the money that Bob is offering, when you know that is not a determining factor once you're the mandatory, that make me question whether or not you really want to fight. You know what I'm saying?
They could order for the
first.
Yeah.
That's what just happened with Teofimo.
Exactly.
If you're not happy with what you're getting paid, just go.
Is the WBO trying to have ordered the mandatory? Because you see, how could they order a mandatory when he just got there? How could they order it?
Maybe hey, maybe I don't know. Maybe one side wanted more than the other secretly. I have no idea. Why would they just do that? And is it in whose best interest is it for them to do that?
The best interest will be for Porter, right?
It should be.
But we already know the WBO and the Top Rank, they on some they cahoots. They in cahoots. You already know the relationship Bob Arum has with WBO.
Yeah, they've been in cahoots. That's been a top rank belt at 147. That's always been a top rank belt.
Yeah.
I don't know. We just gotta wait and see. But Ortiz,
it's always wait and see in this damn box. It's always a wait and see game.
Listen, if Sean Porter doesn't happen, I guess Ortiz got to happen.
I hope so. If he
because
performs very well, and if it's a short night, which I don't believe is a short night, of course, I think that of course we all hyped about Vergil Ortiz and the step up. Um, and a lot of people just not trying to talk about Maurice Hooker, but of course Maurice Hooker is a highly quality opponent, and
Mhm.
which he's gonna give him. He could give him a tough task.
Yo, I'm gonna put you on the spot right now.
Go ahead.
Is Vergil Ortiz better than Jose Ramirez right now? Who's better?
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Let's have a real conversation without. Like, that's why I asked you right on the spot. I only asked you because I was thinking about this. I was thinking about this shit before I got on.
Tools. I Vergil right now. Tools. I think he can work the outside. I like the way he works I like his movement, the way he works. He works the body. He works the jab.
If they were to fight tomorrow, who wins? And I know they part of the same camp, but I'm only having a conversation because
I think it'll be a 50-50 fight right now.
They have a common opponent there,
and they work out together.
And now they have a new common opponent with Maurice Hooker this weekend.
Yeah, I think that's a great slugfest.
See, the thing is, the eye test, Vergil looks incredible. Like he looks like he can be a real like star to me already. The problem is he doesn't have the experience to really back that up. So I would just be saying that based on what I see in the ring, him beating guys that are good quality guys, but not on the level of Jose Ramirez yet. You know what I'm saying? So, but what I see, I think Vergil Ortiz has a higher ceiling than.
Yeah. That's what I got on technical on the bag. What he got in the toolbox. I got Vergil slightly right now because of course he's still growing and his power is still growing. You know, but you know they sparred with one another. They know each other. I think if it does clash down to what Jose Ramirez like for you to stay in front of them. He knows how to trap his opponents, and it takes a little bit of time for him to trap his opponent. I think Vergil Ortiz is the type of opponent that's gonna be there. Also, that he's willing to slug it out. I do like his crisp punches better than Jose Ramirez.
The thing is, I want to see if he got a chin. I want to see if Ortiz got a chin. But he doesn't fight like a guy, like a safety guy. He doesn't fight like.
That's what I'm saying. That would be a little slugfest. There's gonna be a lot of precision because, he stays.
Hooker could crack.
Yeah.
He can crack. Yeah, he can crack. He can definitely punch. So if he get caught with the run set, and I think Hooker is definitely better than anyone that he's fought so far, for sure. But I think if we talking styles, bro. Especially because you in the same camp as someone that just recently beat him.
Yeah.
You know, I think like preparation and just knowing you being close with someone that just beat him recently. I think most of the advantages going into this fight. Maurice Hooker is good, but his style, I don't think it matches up well for Ortiz. Like on his end.
I think with Maurice Hooker likes to bang as well.
Yeah.
I think Maurice Hooker in this type of fight, he would really should work his range, should work the jab, should work trying to outbox Vergil Ortiz. Even though that's still gonna be hard because Vergil Ortiz does know how to trap you. He does know how to cut the ring off very good. That's not gonna. He's young. He got the young legs. He got that. You know. He would try to knock you out. He ain't trying to outbox you. You gonna feel all his punches. I like the way he mixes his punches as well. There's a lot of young fighters that don't mix their punches as well as a Vergil Ortiz or Boots Ennis. Like they're young, but
they look incredible. The both of them look they look elite already. You know, and I try not to. You know, when I see a prospect or they're contenders now, but. When I see these guys, I try not to say oh man, because
prematurely rank them or something.
But these guys look incredible, man. They look like they're elite fighters already. you know, and I haven't even seen a fight where they had a really, and that's the one thing. There's going to be a point, and it might be this Saturday for Ortiz, and it might be the same for Ennis when he fights Limpinets. I haven't seen them fight a fight where they were like extremely cautious yet. Because if you put Ortiz in there with Bud, he can't just walk into the fight like the same way he fights Samuel Vargas. You know, where he's just looking to stop. There's going to be a point where they're going to fight someone on a level where they have to be cautious about what's getting thrown back at them. You know, they're going to have to outbox to get to, you know, work for the knockout. You know what I'm saying? They can't just walk up and be slipping and showing these reflexes and keeping their guard down, dropping their hands. There's going to be a point where how do they fight when they're extremely focused? And I'm waiting to see that for the two of them.
Yeah, facts. Andrew Tucker World. Everybody subscribe to Andrew Tucker
Andrew
World.
Tucker, what's up?
Yeah, two of my favorite channels, Punch Drunk and Boxing Way. Much love and respect, my brothers. Nah, thank you. Much love to you. Everybody subscribe to Andrew Tucker.
Yeah.
The passion, the preacher, the bishop of
Andrew Tucker.
the YTBC.
Andrew Tucker get mad. Yo, Andrew Tucker go. Well, he's mad.
Ooh,
I watched
Canelo.
Mad. Yo, but shout out to Andrew Tucker. Make sure you subscribe to him, man. Good channel's been around for a while, man.
Yeah,
but yeah, man. I don't know. I mean, what's your prediction for this fight, though? What do you think? How it's gonna go?
I think late stoppage.
You think late?
Yeah, I think late stoppage. I won't be surprised if he goes the go the distance with a nice if he goes the distance, I think it'll be a 9-3 if he goes the distance. I'm thinking
it's gonna be a stoppage, but I'm thinking like 8 round for Ortiz.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna stop him out. I'm thinking like 8 round. You know, I think he's gonna come out and he's gonna have some respect for him early. You know, I don't think he's gonna come out Hooker. You know, I mean, having that loss and having a nice comeback win. I know I heard you were saying about using the range and using his jab, working behind his jab. The thing is, it's easy to bait Hooker into a fight.
That's what I'm saying.
It's very easy. He doesn't use that advantage like you would think he would, but and I got tricked into the Ramirez fight because I remember I thought Ramirez would beat Hooker because at the time, I think it was 4. Was it 4 champs? It was Taylor. It was Rougarou. I think they were all 4 champions at one time, maybe.
Regis Prograis. Was it a Regis Prograis?
Yeah. Rougarou, Regis Prograis, and Hooker was a champ, and Ramirez was a champ. And at that time, I was in a little bit in between, and no disrespect to these fighters, because I know they watch these videos, but I kind of was. I thought Taylor and Prograis was the number 1 and 2, no matter where you placed them, and I thought Hooker and Ramirez was like 3 and 4. And then you can also compare to some of the other. You had Baranchik, who was still undefeated at the time. That was a killer at the time, And then the thing is, I think Ramirez was coming off of the win against Zepeda, which was a very close fight. Yeah, and I was like, I thought Ramirez was gonna win, and then last minute I switched over to Hooker, and I was like, no, Hooker's gonna use his range, yada. And
Jose Ramirez makes it closer than what you think, what you predict it will be. Like the Victor.
I was wrong twice with him, bro.
Like the is it what's the name? What's the last fight, Jose Ramirez? That we just lost.
He fought Postal. Victor
Postal, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking he's gonna wash him up.
Yeah, me too.
I thought he was gonna wash him up, but
yo, Postal, that just goes to show, and I said this in a video recently, Postal is very underrated because when he was at 140 and he was a mandatory for Garcia for like 3 fights. And Garcia ended up moving up, and he fought Lamar Peterson and he moved up to welter. Victor Postal, stopped Matisse, which was a good fight. You remember Pacquiao fought Matisse after that. Yeah. Postal was a very dangerous fighter. And going into the Bud fight, people like to say, I think I was addressing Bud in his resume and people saying that he didn't fought nobody. I'm like, listen, at the time that Bud fought Postal, Postal was considered to be a dangerous, for not as knockout power dangerous, but as far as beating him on points, he was very dangerous. And he's one of his best wins, you know? And he gave Josh Taylor a crazy fight because he was winning that fight. Taylor had a good get into this rugged mode and come back and win. You know,
I do still want to see the rematch with Regis Prograis and Taylor. I still want to see that type.
Oh yeah, that was a close fight. Who you thought won that fight?
I think it was a draw. I actually do think.
I thought it was a draw. If I think I said if I had to pick someone, I would probably lean a little bit more towards Taylor. I probably
Josh Taylor showed me more than what I thought he had that fight.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people was like, "Oh, he don't got a body." I mean, he can't go to the body like that.
Yeah.
But he showed me he got grit. He go to the body. He could work you out from the outside. I think that Taylor does got the most wrinkle to his game in the 140. If you tell me who I pick, Jose Ramirez versus Josh Taylor, I got Josh Taylor winning that fight.
Yeah, I'm gonna have Josh Taylor too. I'm definitely gonna break down that fight, but I just think that Josh Taylor has shown me that he can really do it all. I mean, you know, and I like it. You know, it's hard to beat a guy that can switch it up anyway. You know, and that's one of the reasons why I like Bud so much. You know, because he could just outbox you and just outpoint you, and then just make it a fight. Yeah. And I think Taylor can do both. You know, and he's a switch hitter. You know.
Since we're talking about the welterweight division right now with the Vergil Ortiz and Maurice Hooker, what do you feel about the status right now in the welterweight division with the prime fighters, the Spence, Ugas, Bud, Thurman, Porter? Do you want them to talk like Danny Garcia and just go to 154 and leave it and leave these young bucks to blossom 147? What you feel about that?
Well, this is the thing. You know, I did read about Danny wanting to go up to 154, and he's brought it up before. I think he even brought it up before losing to Spence. So, you know, a lot of these guys at 147 are actually probably going to finish. We know Spence is definitely going to finish his career at least at 154, if not having a fight at middleweight at some point. Not too sure about Bud, but as far as 154, you know, it's not easy up there at 154 for guys that want to go up and move up and go up there. And I'm like, well, Danny, you lost to Thurman, you lost to Porter, you lost to Spence. It doesn't really get much easier up there, you know?
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do up there? Like, who are you going to fight? You're not going to fight J-Rock. Y'all both from Philly. You're not going to do that fight. Are you going to fight Charlo? Like, can you beat Charlo? I don't think he can beat Charlo. I don't think he has a chance of beating Charlo.
I think Jamal Charlo just gotten a lot better because remember in the beginning of his career, he wasn't this knockout artist. He was just
it was when he switched over to
Derrick James.
Derrick James, man, he changed his style up, and you know what? It was a little messy in the beginning. You know, when he switched over, you know, when he had that first fight with John Jackson, Julius Jackson's son. And he was getting outboxed. He was down like 5-6 rounds to 0. Yeah. And then he got the knockout. He kept pressuring. He kept fighting. It was like a Wilder type of fight. Like where Wilder could be down on points and then out of nowhere, he's knocking you out, you know? And I think that he's polished his style. Like he's a true knockout artist. What he did to the lefty he knocked out in the first round. What's his name? The kid, I can't think of his name. The kid he knocked out in the first round, Lubin, Erickson Lubin.
Yeah, Erickson Lubin from Florida,
Bro, like, yo, you know how many people thought Lubin was going to beat him in that fight?
Yeah, matter of fact, I went to that fight.
Bro, like, how did he knocked him out. It was a violent knockout. Like, the guy was, like, all messed up, you know? I can't believe...
Yo, that was the matter of fact, just talking about that night, my fault. That was the first night that I was like, damn, people hate Wilder and Keith Thurman. I don't understand that. Like they put him on the big screen, right? And
Mhm.
everybody, when they put Thurman, everybody was like a bunch of people was booing. I'm like, why they booing him? Like he just gave a good.
Yo,
What the
people
hell?
really
And
don't
then,
like Keith Thurman, bro.
yo, and then they put Deontay Wilder. Then like half the people like booing. I'm like, this. I don't understand. And this crowd is like pro just Latino black. It's not
Yeah,
like because the card was
they love
Sean.
him in Brooklyn though.
That's what I thought. I thought
When
they love Wilder.
they love Wilder in Brooklyn, but I
No,
think Keith Thurman,
that was in Brooklyn. The fight.
Keith Thurman got booed in Brooklyn against Danny Garcia.
Yeah, because of course that's Philly crowd.
Yeah,
Philly and
yo,
New York crowd.
Danny get like he get mad love in Brooklyn anytime he fight up here. Even like you would think because he beat Zab Judah, nah, they love him. They
But
love him.
that's when you know that he lost because that crowd was like it was dying down. It was dying down.
For some reason, people
People love
really
Errol
despise
Spence
Keith
because
Thurman.
then when they put Errol Spence on the screen, a lot of people was cheering. So maybe
Yeah, no,
around that
Errol
time
gets a lot of love.
it was that Errol Spence and Keith Thurman thing. They feel like
Yeah.
Keith Thurman was ducking Earl, but the crowd was. But I'm like, damn, why they hate? That's the first time I'm like, why they hate Wilder and Thurman?
Yeah.
Like I don't understand this crowd.
I mean, overall, I'm always gonna love the welterweight division. It's
Yeah.
just that the problem I have with that division, 135 too, is happening right now.
the money hungry.
You know, I just want these guys to fight, man. And I know the politics. I know it's it's about the money, but I just want these guys to fight, man. And Ugas against Errol, I didn't address it yet, but fight is cool with me. I like Ugas.
Yeah, that's a good
I
fight.
think he's good, and I think he's found himself at welterweight because people will look at the fact that he has some losses, and I'm like, no, listen, look at the fights, the division he's at 140. Ugas is big at welterweight. He's big, and you saw in the Sean Porter fight, Sean Porter wasn't bullying him. He wasn't able to manhandle
I think
him.
that's the only. Yeah, I think that's one of the only fights that I ain't seen. Well, he didn't quite bully Kell Brook as well, but I think out of everybody since Kell Brook, I think that Ugas contained Porter better than Thurman and Spence.
Yeah, I think
Contained
Thurman.
Thurman outboxed him when he needed to. Yeah, I heard
just from my observation. Thurman and Berto, big power in both. One thing, very explosive fighters. One thing that I've always noticed about the two of them, though, I'm not talking power, but they never seem to be physically strong to me. Like as far as holding fighters down. Like Berto always got bullied, even by what's his name? Robert Guerrero in that fight, Soto Caras, and even with Sean Porter, guys would just manhandle Berto, and Berto would complain to the ref, like, and it would throw him off his game. And I think with Thurman, even in that fight, I think Sean Porter was just, mauling him a little bit. And that's what made the fight so close, because Thurman got forced into fighting his kind of fight. But when he tried to do that with Ugas, Ugas didn't work at all.
And that was a knockdown, in my opinion. The knockdown.
It was.
It
was. I agree with you. I think I might have watched the fight maybe like 2 months ago. Bro, Sean Porter got a break on there. And that caused him to fight.
Yep.
That would have caused him to fight.
Shout out to Black and Brown Boxing. Subscribe to Black and Brown Boxing. Subscribe to Rap Star Boxing Knowledge. What's good, brothers? Yeah, man. That fight.
Ugas is legit, bro. And he's a very good counterpuncher. That fight against Figueroa was a very impressive win. I mean, I don't know if he swept them, but it was like a dominant performance. Ugas is a good counterpuncher, and it's a good fight for Spence. I don't think he could beat Spence, but I think it's a good fight. Like, I respect Ugas as a fighter. Of course, I want to see the Terrence Crawford fight, like everybody else do. I've made 100 million videos on it, but.
Yeah, I think that would be another. They'll slug it out too, because of course Ugas likes to fight on the inside. He likes to go to the body, just like Errol Spence. But I think blow for blow, I think Errol Spence will have the best out of. Yeah.
but it's a good fight. It's like it's a good
It's no
fight.
easy fight.
It's not an
It's no
easy
easy
fight at
fight.
all. And you know
There's no
what? Who
easy
got
fight
to
up
mess
there.
around and slip and beat? Like we talking Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman got to be really careful who he fights next. He has to be very, very careful because if you think about it, right? He had surgery. He took like a 2-year layoff. Comes back, gets hurt bad by Josecito Lopez. Was in trouble with that fight. That was his first fight. Come back, fights Pacquiao. Pacquiao drops him in that fight.
Yeah.
Keith Thurman rallied good, strong, late that made the fight close because the fight was close.
Yeah, it was.
But now he had another delay since that.
Yeah.
It's been 2 years again. Like whenever we don't know when he's getting back in the ring, but whenever he does, it's going to be at least 2 years because we're already in March.
Yeah. I think that. Yeah, I don't know if it's the injury. I think, to be honest, looking at how PBC works, I think it has to do with injury, but it also has to do with the business model of the PBC. Because look, if we think about the PBC right now, who's scheduled to fight other than the Andy Ruiz fight versus Carlos Arreola?
Yeah.
When is Charlo gonna fight next? When is Spence gonna be fighting next?
Bad. It's bad, man. I think I heard Ring IQ talking about this one day. I was listening to one of his videos, and I didn't even realize that a lot
Shout out to Ring IQ. Shout out to
him. Big fan. There's not a lot of cards. They've been throwing some Showtime cards, but outside of that, I mean, PBC, like real good cards, I don't know what's going on. It's actually scary because, they got a lot of fighters over there, and a lot of them are just on the bench right now.
Yeah. Facts. Shout out to Tony Reviews. My brother was good. DJ Saddam was good.
What's up, Tony? What's up, Tony? What's good? Yeah,
it's hard. It's hard because I'm one of those guys that I do want every fighter to be compensated. I do. Mm-hmm. This is not clout. I do consider all these fighters modern day warriors, modern day gladiators. Yeah. I want every fighter to be compensated and treated fairly. I just think now I feel like the PBC model is these fighters come out and they're young and they want to fight, and I was the type to be like, hey, it's a business. All right, chill out. No, but I want to be the best. I want to be the best. I want to be great. Hey, nobody give a damn if you want to be great, man. People gonna forget about you. Just worry about your money and stuff. And I think they become so much of a business, man. And I think they should be, but they forget about legacy and how it can reign supreme. I think people don't acknowledge that your legacy is your bag forever. Right. It's not that purse. Your legacy is how when fighters be like, I got to take care of my family from generations and generations to come. That legacy, your legacy is what pays everything. Yeah. Your great-grandchild could just be, let's say Marvin Hagler. And let's say Marvin Hagler's son wanted to really do something on the out, right? Right. That's Marvin Hagler's son. That's Muhammad Ali's daughter. Of course, she was good, but her name is what really sold her. Yeah, exactly. Mike Tyson's daughter is going to be playing tennis. She's going to be good, but doors are going to open up because you're Mike Tyson's daughter. And that's because of his legacy. And I think these guys nowadays, they downplaying what legacy really is, Yeah,
it's like boxing. We know it's business and it's entertainment. And I think what they did, it got too more on the business side of it, too far. Like maybe not 100%, but it's like 80%. Where there's other platforms that is still maybe around 60%. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's part of the problem. Not only that, but when I think of the PBC, I really think because at one point a few years ago, they were talking about making a PBC title, and I really believe that the PBC was trying to just create their own organization. They was trying to make it like Bellator, and just UFC, make their own organization. The problem is, it's going to be hard to do that when you still have sanctioning bodies and their own ranking. You still have the fights that's sanctioned and stuff like that, and you still have other fighters outside now. They probably at some point could have dealt with not dealing with the other fighters, but no one's going to respect it, especially when you got people like me and you on YouTube talking about, and we're very, you've been doing incredible work, by the way, with these interviews you've been doing.
Thanks,
You've
bro.
been getting exclusive, excellent interviews. And it just goes to show how important the YouTube community is very important, especially after 2020, where everybody was forced to stay inside. YouTube boxing is big. I met so many fighters. I went to their fights and they knew who I was. And I'm not even like the biggest channel, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we are a factor.
Yeah,
and
there is a responsibility that is creeping up. Like there is some type of responsibilities.
Yes, and and listen, if you are YouTube, there's a lot of channels that's on here. Please be very careful about what you put out there if it's not true, because at some point we're all going to be big enough platforms to where we're going to get sued for something that we said that's not true. And I see it happen all the time, and I'm like, you know what? The reason why it's happening is because no one's being held accountable for it.
Facts.
And I know I'm getting off topic, but I just wanted to say that. And I've been thinking that for the last couple of years. I'm like, at some point, us YouTubers are going to be held accountable for putting out stuff that's not true.
Not facts. And I'm gonna give you an example. I'm not gonna mention the name, but I did a video, and then the camp called me. One of the camp called me. And they're like, that video that you put out there, that's not true. And I'm like, hey, I got this. I got the source was, you know what I'm saying, ESPN. That was Steve Kim that wrote it. So I got it from Steve Kim. Don't know nothing. You know, you know what I'm saying? See, like, and if you want to be a journalist, you should ask the source or you know, get the source information out there, and I will be more than gladly tell you what it is. I'm like, yeah, I ain't had your content. You feel me? I had your contact. You know, but right now you got it now, and this what it is, and this what it is. I'm like, and then right there, I'm like, you know what? If I hear something and I got the avenue, I don't care if it's Twitter, I don't care if it's IG, I'm gonna try to hit whatever I need to hit, and if I get a response, I get a response. If I don't, I still do the content. But you already know, there's my receipt. I try to hit you up for this type of information.
Right.
You just saying, look at you ain't look at your inbox or whatever, but I know that the boxing community is a very small community.
Yeah,
it's a very small community.
Compared, because listen, I follow, dude. I'm into so many different things. I'm a big car buff, right? I'm I love street racing and all that, exotics, and these dudes, man. Every video, these guys get to a 200K like overnight. You know, that's what just goes to show. Like I love anime. The anime community, bro. They make hundreds of thousands of subscribers overnight.
Yeah.
So the boxing community is very small. We're like a family, you know, and it's grown a lot because I remember, I've been here. I started this channel in 2013. You know, it's just that I've taken my breaks and stuff. But I remember once upon a time, like 500 views was a lot of views at one point on YouTube. And some of these guys been on like 78 and The Wire, and even it's been so many channels that was there years before I got there. So it's great to see it grow, like channels like yourself and other channels that came out that's only been out for 2-3 years. Guys blow up real quick, and you couldn't do that back then. But it's great. I'm proud of all you guys. That I love the fact that you guys shine and good, and
your channel is lit too, my brother. Your channel is lit. Very unbiased, very you don't.
I try to
just keep it real. Yeah, you just keep it straight, no feelings, no.
Nah, man. Just
more facts, less opinion. I'm a really fan of your style.
Appreciate it.
James Kelly, what's good? James Kelly, what's good, my brother? YouTube school was good. Thank you, appreciate that. Let me get Sputtle boxing. Big up, wave and punch. Good looking out. I appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
All right, Marky Mark. But it's there is some responsibility, and of course, there's a lot of people that push narratives. There's a lot of people that wants to keep it real and just push the truth, or wants to be as accurate as they can be. And so hey, praise. Shout out to all the boxing content creators.
Yeah. Yeah, all you can do is just keep doing your thing, you know. I mean, and just continue to, you know, to grow and just keep it real, man. And people are gonna love that, you know. Is you have your own way of doing it, you know, and that's what's important. You have your own style, like, and that's what's up. That's dope.
That's what's
You
up.
know, but
Major Key Boxing. Subscribe to Major Key Boxing. What's good? What's good? Pound for pound. Shouting out the people. You feel me?
Yo, quick question. What do you think Keith Thurman should do? Like, what's a good comeback fight for him if he's not gonna fight like a name? Like, because I know he calls people out a lot. You know, he says like a lot of names in his interviews. But what do you think is a realistic fight for a comeback fight if he's coming off a 2-year layoff again?
I think the perfect fight, perfect name, Omar Figueroa. Because they both fought on the same day, I believe so.
Omar's he
hasn't fought since July.
Omar is kind of dangerous, bro.
No, but he hasn't fought since the same day. There was the undercard to the Manny Pacquiao and Keith Thurman.
No, I feel what you're saying, but Omar's dangerous.
No, yeah,
because you know Omar. I would be, you know, Keith is a little weak to the body. And Omar's not a guy that Keith can hurt, even though Keith is a big puncher. He was more of a bigger puncher when he was fighting lower guys. Once he stepped up, he turned into a boxer.
A boxer
puncher. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And Omar is a guy where he keeps coming. And once Keith is not moving so much, it's gonna be a little, I don't know. He could pull off an upset, man. I'm just saying, coming off of a layoff, I think that is a real fight for Keith.
I mean, I think there's a real fight for both of them, and I think it will actually answer that. It will actually answer those questions of, are they still hungry? Because I feel like Keith and Omar Figueroa is getting that type of critique. Are they still hungry for the game? Or are they just fighting just to fight for a paycheck?
Yeah.
Because I know Omar Figueroa. I think you could see it in interviews. He's just doing it to do it. I don't think that he's in love with this game, but he knows that.
I feel that about Mikey.
Oh, you see Mikey's belly recently.
Yo, Mikey has been uninterested in the sport for years. And he said it years ago. He's like, I don't even want to be a boxer. I want to be a police officer. He said that in the interview years ago. I think before the Bob Arum Top Ring thing.
I know. I think he learned a lot after going through when he went through with Top Rank. He became a great businessman, man. Getting that $7 million versus Jesse Vargas with the Zone.
Yeah.
And this is when I also use this as an example with the Mikey Garcia and Jesse Vargas. That think about it. When he fought Errol Spence, the purse was $3 million. And then when he did for Jesse Vargas, went to the Zone, it was $7 million. And people were like, how he got that $7 million? So it's not really what people shouldn't put the value or worth of a fighter. It's whoever's willing to pay for it.
Look at Triller. Hey. Triller remind me of Rock Nation when they came into boxing for that short period of time, and they were throwing big bucks around. Yeah. You know, and it's like, dog, like when the Zone came out, they were doing it. Then you know, now Triller's doing it, and it's like, yo, bro, you know, these promoters that's been around, I mean, because PBC ain't new anymore. Yeah. You know, it's like they're not throwing the money around like that, you know, because Fox is not gonna let that happen. And it's like, damn, these corporations is just coming in, pulling in fighters, throwing big money. You know, and you know, especially if the Saudis get involved in a fight. Once the Saudis get involved, it's over.
But I'll piggyback with what you were saying a little bit earlier about the PBC. It could have worked. Them becoming their own entity could have worked. The only thing that people don't rely on them is because they don't put the best fights. If they would have been like, okay, let's do this PBC thing. All right. Errol Spence versus Keith Thurman. Let's make it happen. All right, Gervonta Tank Davis versus Gary Russell Jr. And put the fights that people want to see within the PBC banner. Then people will be loving PBC. But the thing is, they just and it's only anticipation. It's only they're not giving us what we really want. But they could be their own entity if they just fight one another. When the
Yeah,
fight,
true.
when the people want to see the fights,
Right.
you know.
I think
Thanks, James Kelly. Good looking out. Not today though, my brother. Not today, but tomorrow, yes. Good looking out. Appreciate that.
yeah, I think that's part of the problem. And you also we gotta also say, like, on a business and uh where they really behind closed doors, what were they really impressing Fox with their numbers and stuff like that? You
Nah,
know what I'm saying?
they're not gonna renew that. I don't
We're
think so.
never gonna know that, but it could be a thing that's going on behind closed door. Is Fox really? Sometimes I don't feel like, sometimes I don't know. I don't feel like Fox support them like the way ESPN, I mean, not ESPN, they support the UFC, but at the same time, the UFC put on better fights.
That's what I mean. Think
You know?
about it. Because the network does give the promoters, or of course you can't say Al Heyman's a promoter, but we all know. They give them the budget, right? And I don't think the networks really know the sport. They rely on, like, let's say ESPN relies on Top Rank, relies on their promotional company, but the
Right.
heads don't know boxing like that. They just give you the budget. And then what I feel like I notice is, all right, PBC says in the contract with PBC and Fox that you're gonna have this number of championship fights, right? So the network is like, okay, championship fight. That's it. We're gonna be showing champions. But then PBC is like, yeah, they don't know who's Plant versus Truex, but it's still a championship bout.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
networks don't know that. And
Yeah,
I
they
think
don't
that they
know.
just take.
Yeah.
I think promoters have taken advantage of the networks, which only hinders, is gonna hurt the future, because now those big networks gonna be like, man, I'm not trying to deal with boxing. We gave so much
Yeah.
money to boxing, and the revenue wasn't back. Now let's say with Top Rank, with the networks, let's say Top Rank and ESPN is cool, but Top Rank and its fighters are not cool. Now, in the PBC side, PBC and the fighters are cool, but the PBC ain't cool. Or probably the network is not cool with the PBC. So that's how I see it on that side. Like, they're gonna give
Yeah.
all the money to the
No,
fighters,
that all
but they're
makes
not bringing,
sense.
but they're not
Yeah.
bringing no type of revenue to Fox. That's how I feel.
Yeah. I think something's really going on, man. I just want, I just want the sport to be good overall. Like, I'm not like James, thank you. My father's great, man. He had one of the best birthdays he's had, man. So he's doing good, man. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. We just got back from Florida. We was down there kicking it. Appreciate it. I gotta do a video with him. I told my channel that me and him was gonna have like a Tyson day, because he's like a big Tyson. He's one of the old school Tyson fans that don't believe Tyson really lost. You know how that so one day we was on here talking about it, and he was on there like, he goes into the whole Tyson, and I'm like, oh man, he's gonna go on camera right now.
But it's funny because people think that it's today that people act like that. Like, yeah, there is a lot of Mike Tyson fans that feel like he never lost. But then there is the Deontay Wilder fans, but people like to go at Deontay Wilder fans, but
You're
they're
right.
like that with Mike Tyson. They're like that with Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah.
Marquez, no, that was a lucky punch. There's no way. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
Marquez.
that's true. That's true. People won't let it go. He's like, yeah, because James Buster Douglas' mother passed away. Mike was. I'm like, oh man, you gonna really talk about this on camera right now? And as a kid, I was like, yo, I grew up listening to that, believing that, because my pops, he used to do these. That's how I got into boxing, basically. He used to do these crazy fight parties at the house. Back when we had the cable boxes and stuff, and he used to do these crazy. All the friends used to come over, and we used to get into it, and I'd be the only kid there. But that's how I got into it. Me and him watch UFC 1 together. Like, we used to really watch sports, and he used to just talk about Tyson. Yeah, man. He used to talk about. I didn't know who a gold digger was until Robin Givens, and he explained to me what Robin Givens. I swear to God, swear. everything I love, bro. I didn't
You're like,
know
what's
what
a
a
gold digger?
yo. It was more, and it was more terms than that. But I'm just gonna keep it at gold digger. I didn't know what one was until Robin Givens when he used to talk. That's how much of a Tyson fan he was. Right.
I mean, that's what I'm talking about. That people love Tyson so much. Be like, he ain't raped that woman. Like we
Yeah.
don't know. But no, he did not. There's no way that Mike Tyson would do such a thing.
Yeah. No matter what Tyson did.
Holyfield on steroids.
Yeah, Yo,
If what was the best one? If Costamato was still alive, Mike Tyson would have never lost.
Yeah, that's another one. That's a real one. And people will never let that go.
Yeah.
I mean, at least with that, people, I mean, there's a lot of truth in, with Don and him getting screwed. But I mean, he was screwed and stuff by the industry, but that's part of the sport. And that's what separates the great from the, or some of the greater, is being responsible, and that goes back to, Marvin Hagler, I mean, he was a great, and he wasn't a drinker. He was fully focused. He would go and go away for months for his fights and preparation and lock himself in. And you see other fighters, even then, back then, I think a lot of people don't understand. A lot of things that were happening back then is still happening today. You have the more irresponsible fighters that's out here partying, drinking, getting caught up with women, getting caught up with the law, and getting in trouble, and they're not taking care of their bodies, and Benavidez, I love Benavidez is great. He's a good fighter. I can't wait to see him into a real fight. But dog, you lost the belt
twice,
and you're only like 23. Like, what are you doing? Somebody needs to grab him by the neck and just drag him in this. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's good. He got the potential, but he just got to get it in order.
Hey, Papa, come on! You're leaving too much money on the table. Get it together.
Yeah, exactly.
See, but then you got Canelo Alvarez, who is the cash cow, but he's in the gym he only takes like 1 week break after his fights, and he's back in the gym.
That's what I'm saying. And you know what and I said this too, these fighters got to fight more. If you could.
Especially
if you could fight 3 or 4 times a year, that's going to keep, you have no choice but to stay focused, because you got to keep working out. See,
that's what I was talking about, the PBC. You remember the interview, right at the interview when Errol Spence was talking again, right? And he said something about, when he was talking about that, he was self-destructing already, right? Yeah. And he said something like, just paraphrasing, he said something like, I mean, I had no fight dates. I got 8 months without a fight. I don't know what to do. It gets to the point where I'm just sitting around. I mean, you can't train for a whole 6-8 months without. So then that's why I don't like about the PBC model. And the thing is, you hear fighters almost like trying to scream like for help so people can notice.
Yo, dude,
what did Broner say? You saw Broner in his last interview. Please just give me fights. Keep me busy. You
right, yo. You right. And I peeped that. I heard that, and I remember that Errol interview for sure. Mm-hmm. I heard another interview recently. I don't want to say the name because I think it was them, but I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. But there are fighters that say slick stuff that I feel like they're talking about either their promoter or, you know what I'm saying? And I heard a few say something about the PBC, but they don't want to come out and really say it, and it's not just you, because I've noticed it too, man. I've noticed it,
I mean, they can't throw their promoters under the bus, so they're gonna they're gonna be in the shelf. So
I feel like they're already in the shelf.
Yeah, naturally.
and listen, worst case scenario, like if these rumors there's been rumors of the PBC collapsing for years now, pretty much since the first year. But I feel like these more recent rumors of, there being an issue with Fox and the money not really being there, and the fact that everyone is kind of been inactive over there. What's going to happen if it doesn't work out? There's a lot of fighters over there. There's a lot of fighters. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm just gonna just sit back and watch. I just want the fights to be made, but I do want the fighters to get paid, and I mean the fighters should definitely get paid for what they do.
Yeah, but then the worst thing also is the young fighters. Like even Tio. I don't think Tio should be fighting 2 times a year still. He still got 16 fights. He's still young. Yes, he
Yeah,
accomplished that, but he shouldn't be fighting. Look, he's going to be fighting in June.
yeah,
So he's going to fight 2 times this year.
yeah,
I don't think he's there yet to fight 2 times this year. I think, and I know that he wants to fight more fights. I think that's one of the things that he don't like about this deal, that he needs to fight, that he needs to wait all the way to June. He did want to fight somewhere in March and April,
yeah,
but so he's gonna fight in June. Then he's gonna fight probably in November, September. It's only 2 times a year,
yeah. Nah, these.
and this is why these records are gonna stand still. I don't even think nobody in this generation gonna reach the 50 fights.
Yeah, that's another thing too, bro. Now, a lot of these guys be having 30 professional fights in their 30s. I mean, some of them are well, a lot
They're
of
gonna
these
end up like Andre Ward, probably.
a lot of the fighters, a lot of the Olympic fighters, like the really, extremely great amateurs, are not going to reach high numbers because a lot of them now, like, you had Lomachenko, you had Better BF, who came out and was fighting like Terrorist Cloud in like his 7th fight. Guys like that are going to always they're not going to have a lot of fights because they're usually coming in pro late 20s. Around that time.
35.
Triple G too. I think Triple G. I mean, the thing is with Triple G though, he became pro late, but he was having a lot of fights, and he was still fighting like guys as a pro, still amateur level type of fights before he got to the really, really tough top fighters. But I mean, I don't know, man. I think these guys like Haney and T.O., like you said, these younger fighters, even Vergil Ortiz. Fight as many times as you can, get on a card. Just get on a card. Even if it's not like a big fight, just get on a card. Just fight somebody.
And this goes back to, let's say a lot of people critique Canelo, but Canelo is going to be fighting 5 times. I mean, 3 times in a span of 5 months. Yeah, and he's the cash cow.
Listen, I said this yesterday when talking about Chocolatito and Strada. You say what you want about Canelo. And Canelo, you can say what you want. There's plenty of things you can bring up that you could talk about some of the fights poorly judged. You want to bring up the tainted meat forever. If you want to bring up the rehydration clauses that weren't necessary in certain fights, things like that. You bring up what you want. But at the end of the day, he's still doing more than anybody else.
Facts.
He's my number one because even with all that you just said, whoever brings up these arguments, he is still doing more than anybody else.
Facts.
And if he
Those
fought the level of fighters that some of these guys are vouching for, man, bro, they would they slandering him now for fighting Callum Smith. If he fought Calvin Truax, bro. Calvin Truax, come on, bro. Right now, nah.
What you think about now? What you think about this past weekend? Chocolatito and Estrada. Who'd you have winning? I had Chocolatito winning 115, 113. What was your call?
I had it 116, 112 for Chocolatito.
Okay.
116, 112.
Couple of swing rounds though.
There's a couple swing rounds.
Straight up. Okay.
There's a couple swing rounds in there, yeah, for sure. There's definitely a couple swing rounds. I think rounds that I thought was swing rounds, or I think the 11th round was very hard for me to call. I actually gave that round to Estrada.
I gave it. I got my scorecard right here. I gave it to Estrada too.
Yeah, and I think let me see here. I think so I gave rounds 3 and 4 to Chocolatito.
Okay.
But I also made a note that Estrada finished strong in both of those rounds.
Yeah.
I just thought Chocolatito, and I think overall that's the way I scored it because I think Chocolatito was just continuously landing flushly, where I think Estrada was landing bigger shots. The ones that he landed was less landed shots, wasn't as consistent to me. But when he landed, it was like a bigger shot.
I gave the third round, that was a swing round to me, but I gave it a Chocolatito. The fourth round, I gave it a Gallo.
Okay.
But it was still a close fight, even close rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wasn't like ain't nobody washing anybody. Like, the best.
No, it wasn't dominant at all. And my scorecard is, trust me, my scorecard is. It may seem wide, but this is still a very competitive fight.
Yeah.
I
think Chocolatito closed out good. I think if any, there was one round that I'm like, this is flat out this person. The 7th round for Gallo was for me.
Yeah, 7th round. That's his best round.
That's his best round.
That's his best
round. And then Chocolatito for me was the last round in which he hurt him.
I said the same thing. The 12th he went off.
Yeah.
The 12th he went off. And the 7th was just, I swear when I saw the 7th, I saw the 6th. So I gave the 6th to Estrada as well. Because that was a change. That's when he started going to the body. But the 7th, he did it even better. And I was like, oh no, man. I don't know if Chocolatito was a win. And then I feel like Chocolatito switched it back up because the 7th day was just straight phone boothing. And Gallo was way better on the inside fighting like that.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. After that, he kind of went back to fighting the way he was fighting before. And I'm like, yeah. And I started giving Chocolatito more rounds after that. But unfortunately, I was making a lot. I did break that down, but I was mainly ranting about the judge with the 117, 111 thing. I'm glad at least he got suspended.
Facts. Counter Punch boxing news. Good looking out. Boxing Way with the knowledge. Counter Punch. Great channel, my brother. Subscribe to Counter Punch boxing news.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Counter Punch. Appreciate it, bro.
Yeah. See, I think there was certain things that I can understand people's certain frustrations. I do think they must have missed a little bit of Estrada's body work, but I also think that they missed Chocolatito's defense.
Mm-hmm.
See, Chocolatito's game is really the game of inches. We all know that boxing is the game of inches, but his style,
he's still really, really good, bro.
The way he blocks the punches with his elbows. Like when you think they're landing body shots, he blocks it with his elbow. Yeah. He slips those punches real good, and he makes you pay consistently. He's not this guy that's just going to slip punches. He's going to make you pay for your misses.
He was on target with that right hand on fight. Yep. He kept slipping and landing it, that overhand right over and over again. It wasn't the most powerful. I don't think he was really trying to sit down on those punches. I think he was just more focused on timing and speed.
Yeah, I think because
Gallo was trying to knock him out. I think he was like boom, heavy, bang. Every time you heard the loud thud every time he landed a punch or he touched Chocolatito's gloves. You knew he was putting power into those shots.
Yeah, and that's what I mean about Chocolatito. Chocolatito catches it. He catches a lot of punches with his glove, with his elbow, counters. Estrada had the beautiful. That hook and then hook to the body.
Yeah.
Combination that was working for him as well. The right hand was working for Chocolatito. I still think I saw this fight 3 times and I still come with the same conclusion: 113, 115.
Yeah, this division is. I think this division might have the most potentially pound for pound fighters out of all the divisions. As far as maybe not as far as welterweight, because you can say Spence, you can say Bud, you can say Pacquiao. I mean Thurman was definitely a pound for pound for a short period as a unified fighter at one point.
He was.
But this division, you got Ioka, you got Chocolatito, you got Gallo, you got Maurice, who he's up next.
Yeah,
it's really hard to really call it with this division. You know,
It
these guys are all good.
should this division be the four kings instead of people trying to say the lightweight division is the premature four kings? Should they market this division?
What I will say is this: they should market it that way, and they should start doing it now, or they should have started already.
Well, we got to do the job. We got to do the job boxing way. We got
yo. Unfortunately, you know, a couple of these guys, they're kind of going towards the end of their career. You know, they're kind of in the fourth quarter, or you know, just in just starting that. So my whole thing is, what I will say is that I think what they've done, and I've said this in the videos, like I think they definitely are bringing more people, more viewers down to those conventions. Like a lot of people are starting to really like talk about it. I think YouTubers definitely get a lot of credit for it because people are now paying attention to these younger guys, you know, and I love it. I saw Chocolatito when he was in New York on the Triple G, maybe the Lemieux undercard. I went to that fight. I was in Madison Square Garden, and Chocolatito was there, and he was staying in the hotel across the street from the Garden,
Pennsylvania
and
hotel.
Yeah, and nobody was. They didn't even know who he was, bro.
Yeah, I know. It is like that with the
Crazy.
smaller division. It is like that with the smaller division.
Yeah, and everybody respected. I mean, like the hardcores respected him at this point. People don't know who he was, you know. But I think they're getting more attention now. I think this fight might have been their biggest payday. I think, I'm not sure. I know Chocolatito wanted $1 million. I think that might have been his biggest payday, because back then when he was being promoted as pound for pound #1, he was still getting $200,000, $300,000 checks.
Yeah, I'd say, like, man, that card was a great card by Eddie Hearn.
Yeah,
but that was a great card from start to finish.
I just watched the Brackus fight with McCaskill yesterday. I watched that last night.
I love that fight.
I didn't watch the Ammo Williams fight. It's a lot of other fights on there, so I have to watch.
That was a good fight. That was a good fight too.
I was on vacation, so I only got time to watch one fight while I was out. But I heard it was a card. People were leaving comments telling me like, "Yo, you got to watch the rest of the card. The card was awesome."
Yeah, this was. I think this was the best card for me, and probably in a year and a half. Card. I'm talking about a card of
just every fight, like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, you know, there's certain cards where, you know, the event starts at 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
you know, and you're just waiting for the last two cards.
Right. I wish I could have went live, because going live, man, and we covering the whole card. It's like when it's like 2-3 fights in a row, that's boring. You just damn, like, so. I think one time they had me, they're like, "Yo, wake up." I was like, "Yo,"
I was like that too. Man, I was like that too. Like, yo, you gotta, you done. What call was one of the boringest ones that I saw? I'm like,
it was one that was recently that was pretty bad.
I know.
Nah,
Which
one
was
it up, yo.
Which one was it? It wasn't the Lippinet and Clayton fight.
Nah, I gotta see now, because there was a card where it was like 5 straight joints that was bad fights.
Then I was like, just, come on, let's get to the main event, please.
Yo, I
know what fight is that. I was like, damn, my Saturday, man, all gone for this.
Was it? It was a DAZN fight. It was definitely a DAZN fight.
It was? I love DAZN, bro.
Yeah, I love DAZN too, but they had one bad card recently, and I can't remember what it was. What was the card that had was Joshua and Pulev a good card?
Joshua and Pulev.
I think it might have been.
I think I tuned. I think when I went live on that one, I just went live for the.
Okay, I think I might have covered the whole fight. I can't remember, but there was a card on here that I covered, and all the pre-fights they all went to distance, and they were like boring. And we was like, yo, people kept going, yo, the fight didn't start yet. I'm like, nah, every fight is going to distance, every single one of them. you know, and they weren't good, like entertaining fights. So it happens sometimes. But I'm gonna check out this whole card though. Probably before the week is out and just go over like the McCaskill fight, bro. She was hitting Brockus with some
Right
punches that
hands.
I thought would drop her.
Yo,
I just can't believe like there wasn't no like knockout in that fight.
The thing with Jessica McCaskill, you got to give her credit because the number of fights compared to Cecilia Brækhus,
Yeah.
like she should be, to be honest, she should be schooling Jessica McCaskill.
Yeah.
She should be schooling her. But
I noticed that in the first fight that the difference, you see their records.
Yeah.
This chick was like 36, 35 fights, wins, no losses.
Now, of course, she's 39 years old. And I, to be honest, I'll be like with the Cecilia Brækhus, Jessica McCaskill, I think that is just a bad matchup for Cecilia Brækhus. It's just that type of pressure. She
McCaskill's a beast. She comes out right away blazing.
Yeah, I love her style. And to be honest, that's the type of style that if they wanted to, to elevate the sport, the women boxing, you gotta have that type of specialness. And it's not even about women boxing. It's also with men boxing. The way that it came through fruition, being that type of sport. You needed the Mike Tyson to sustain that era. You needed the four kings to sustain that era.
Yeah.
So and today you need that special. You need that special ingredients. Like there's people. Oh, I don't like the way the Deontay Wilder style. You needed that knockout for that heavyweight division to wake up from its coma. You needed Anthony Joshua because even though that Tyson Fury did beat Klitschko, ain't nobody missed Tyson Fury when he left.
Nah.
Because if they actually did miss him when he came back, it should have been a big party like when Mike Tyson came back to fight Peter McNeely. Nobody missed Tyson Fury because of his style.
Yeah, I don't know how it was overseas, but in America, Tyson Fury being Klitschko was like no one cared. I mean, I was talking about it, but there wasn't many channels. There wasn't much coverage of it at that time. Remember, I did a breakdown for that fight, and I can remember no one really cared like that here in America. I mean, when Wilder was fighting Fury, the first fight, I remember going out. I went down. I remember I went down to Legends to watch it, and downtown in the city, and there was a lot of people out looking to watch it, and I was like surprised. I was like, "Yo, this is good." It's good that people are getting up and going out to watch a big boxing fight. Mm-hmm. But Fury it's very disappointing, and I was actually getting scared. And this is another thing I said in the videos. Like, I was kind of getting worried about this Joshua fight because I feel similar energy, like kind of when Fury took a break before. I mean, I think he beat Klitschko. It was hyped up when he went into the ring to face off with Wilder. Everybody was out there in the arena. You had Povetkin, and you had all these people that was there, and then he disappeared, man, and that was it. He got stripped, and that was that. But now it's really hyped up, like it's as hyped up as it could be, and hopefully we really get the fight. They're saying the fight is signed and everything, so hopefully we can just move forward and get the fight, man.
Facts. But yeah, I just think that boxing has got great momentum at this moment. Boxing got great momentum. I was gonna ask you about the Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. What do you think about that fight?
I've always was leaning towards Joshua for that fight to win. I'm not sure. Of course, it's a 50-50.
Don't gotta say the prediction because of course you gotta hold that prediction down for the channel. But
I change it sometimes. I change it. I could change it. Yeah.
I'm gonna say I said I dropped a video on how I think Anthony Joshua when I say he's gonna barbecue the ribs. But I'm gonna do another. And people are like, yo, Punch, what do you mean, Anthony Joshua? You really gonna pick Anthony Joshua? Hold on, that was just me predicting and how Anthony Joshua is gonna beat Tyson Fury. Now I'm gonna do what I feel Tyson Fury is gonna beat Anthony Joshua. But I think Anthony Joshua will beat Tyson Fury by working the body, doing something that a lot of people don't do to Tyson Fury.
Yeah. I think that could be one thing. I think what intrigues me so much about this particular fight, as opposed to Deontay Wilder, is that the two have showed they can fight different fights with every opponent, as opposed to Wilder. I thought Wilder was always more dangerous for Joshua because I just think Fury is just naturally more. I think he's just more like, I don't want to say athletic is the word, but he's more of a gifted boxer to me, you know, like he just looks like he moves different. Like he just sees the punches coming, you know, he's just looser. He's just more, I don't know, like he's like the natural boxer to me when I see the three. I think Joshua's a little bit more in between, but more of a boxer side, just not as maybe as skillful as Fury, but I think his power, I think his size makes him so good, you know, and he's become more skillful with every fight. But I've seen him fight so many different ways, and I see Fury fight so many different ways. Even the approach he took towards Wilder was really, really shocking, man. Like, I didn't expect him to come in that much bigger and really bully Wilder the way he did and come at him like that. You know, I wasn't expecting Fury to do that because Fury's usually slick. He's moving backward, pop, pop, pop. He doesn't normally fight that way. So when he did that, I was like, I'm curious to see what he does against Joshua. And I'm curious to see what Joshua does with Fury, because in the Andy Ruiz rematch, he fought super safe. You know, he worked behind his jab. He was moving. He never got tired for a whole 12 rounds.
And a lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people didn't like it, but he showed another wrinkle to his game that he could work from the outside. Yeah. And it's almost like the difference between Tyson Fury, Anthony, and Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua when their last outing, right? Not the last outing with Kubra, but that fight that we're talking about. Tyson Fury showed you that he could outslug the slugger. Because even when he said that he's gonna go right to Wilder, ain't nobody believed that.
Nah, he just be talking. So I was like, nah, I don't believe him.
He ain't gonna stay in line with Wilder. Yeah. I dare him to stay in line. Nah. But what he did, he showed us that this guy could go and demolish the demolisher. Yeah. And for me, it was better than, yes, he outboxed the Klitschko. But for me, like I said, yeah, he outboxed him, but I don't want to see a 6'9", 300+ guy just moving around the ring.
Played it too safe. It was too safe.
Pop shotting his way to victory. Yeah. And that's why even when he left for like two and a half years, nobody really missed him, because around that time, people already was frustrated with Floyd Mayweather boring style, and then the heavyweight division, we wanted away from his coma. People was in Klitschko had a boring style, and then the heavyweight, you beat Klitschko, but in a boring style. Yeah. You know. So I liked it. So even I was going for Wilder on that second fight, but the way that he beat Wilder was like, I mean, if you're gonna beat somebody, you're gonna beat and become the champion of the world, the heavyweight champion. That's the way you gotta perform. That's the way you beat him. Now with Anthony Joshua, even people didn't like the way he beat Andy Ruiz, but to me, he just showed another wrinkles. Of course, we want to see Anthony Joshua, and we want to see heavyweights about knockouts. It's about heavy punches. It's
right. Exactly.
You know, I'm not comparing this heavyweight to the past heavyweight where these guys was actually 215 pounds. These, you know, I like Muhammad Ali flowing like a butterfly, sting like a bee, but these guys are 260 pounds. Yeah. 6'7". I don't want you flowing like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I want to see that heavy power. You know, so
I think.
I do think that Tyson Fury does perform to the level of his competition sometimes.
That's true too. Well, look,
in the past,
I think this fight is a toss up. Really, I think it really is a toss up. I really don't know, because I wasn't right for the Wilder fights. You pick
Wilder fight twice.
Well, I pick Wilder to win because of timing. You know, I thought it was the right time, the best time to fight Fury. He was just getting back into it. And Wilder was going on his knockout streak, or, you know, at the time he was looking great. And I thought it was a time to fight Fury. Like, if you're going to beat Fury, that was the time to do it. And I picked Wilder to win because I figured, you know, at some point, no matter what Fury was doing and outboxing him, Wilder was going to hit him and knock him out, like we've seen so many other times. And it almost happened in the 12th round. It almost happened. But Fury got back up. And then in the rematch, I picked Wilder again just because of how the 12th round ended in the first fight and how Fury looked against what's this fighter's name? What's the fighter he fought that just
Wallen,
yeah, Otto Wallin.
They saved him.
Yeah, and I was just like, man, I don't know, man. They're gonna have a rematch. You know, Wilder knocked him out at the end. Maybe Wilder's gonna, you know how to land that right hand a little earlier in the fight and get him out of there. Mm-hmm. So that's my thinking. And Fury just went on there and just demolished this dude. It was just like, I don't even know.
James Kelly, Fury is a great boxer. AJ can fight, but don't be surprised if Tyson smother AJ. And that's what I wanted to get that to that. Good point, James Kelly.
Yeah.
AJ outboxed him. Fury beat Deontay. Deontay was embarrassed. Yeah, he was. And I was gonna say that as well. That I think the only way to stop an inside game of Anthony Joshua if Tyson Fury does smother him. Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying is also if he does get in the, because I don't think that Tyson Fury got an inside game. But if he does smother him and Anthony Joshua has the tools to also, you know, he could outbox the clinch. He could, you know, he could maneuver his way out the clinch. He got a great uppercut. If you try to hold him, he could connect with an uppercut. He could work his way. There's a lot of boxers, especially young boxers, that cannot fight their way out the clinch. You know, guys like you know, Devin Haney. I feel in his last 2 outings, he couldn't outbox. I think that's what he needs to grow, in my opinion. And even let's say when we were talking about, let's say Teofimo Lopez in the later rounds with Lomachenko, he was prodding him instead of punching himself off these clinches, he was pushing away from his arm, and that's when I know, okay, he needs more fights. He needs more
rugged fighters that's going to sit in the pocket, like, you know. I mean, I don't want to just go to Floyd because he's one of the greatest, but he was so comfortable with fighting rugged fighters in the inside, like a Maidana. Like, you know, Maidana was very, very rugged, and he felt very comfortable being in there no matter what kind of punches was coming his way. And one thing about Fury, piggybacking off what you were saying, Fury offensively might not have a crazy inside game, but he is good at smothering his opponent. He's good on being on the inside and leaning on them, you know, draining them, making them miss, making them smother their own punches. All of those things will affect his opponent in the long run, especially when you're trying to wear them out and get them tired. Like Wilder, who is much smaller than Joshua, you know, skinny on the lower half of his body. You know, he was complaining about we know he was complaining about his costume being heavy, but if we're not even talking about that, we're talking about what we were seeing in the ring. Fury was putting his weight on him and everything. That takes a lot out of it. We've seen it in so many fights.
But I think with this opponent is different because with AJ, he's actually strong. He actually could push.
That's what. Yeah.
He could actually push
off.
Mm-hmm. Like, you remember when Tyson Fury grabbed Wilder and he grabbed him and he just pushed him off?
Yeah.
I said, damn, Wilder is light. I know we all know that he's light, but you could see the way when he grabbed him and just barely almost picked him up.
Right.
You know,
that was the heaviest he's been in a while when he fought Fury.
Yeah, and I think that
because he was going to the lower twos for a while, and then he went back and bulked back up for that fight. You know.
And I think with Anthony Joshua, he could smother him, but I think for me, Tyson Fury could smother somebody, but half the time is not as effective, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, he's just smothering. He's not punching his way into it. He's just leaning on you.
Yeah.
There's other fighters that
Klitschko did it a lot too. Klitschko was great at that. He did it Povetkin the whole fight.
Yeah.
You know, when him and Povetkin fought.
Like Sean Porter, he'll smother you, but he will capitalize while he's smothering you, and then he looks good.
Sean Porter's a hard-working fight. I tell you, and we were talking about that earlier about staying in shape and staying active and staying busy. Sean Porter is where he is, not because he has the best technique or anything like that. It's because of his work ethic, you know, him being responsible, and he takes advantage of his style. He's a rough and rugged fighter. He used to play football, and he uses it in the ring. He does what he has to do to win, you know, and that's what makes him so difficult. You know, look what he did when he fought Paulie Malignaggi. He destroyed him, just bullied him, you know, just so you know, and that's what makes him a high level welterweight, you know, because he can just do that, you know. But I'm curious to see what approach these fighters could take. And the good thing is it's going to be a really, really high level fight because these guys can adjust. They both have proven and shown that they can adjust mid fight. You know, they come in whatever strategy they come in with. We know at some point, whatever's not working, they can switch it up and fight a totally different style. You know, you go back and look at the Dillian White fight and look at AJ. AJ, it was personal for him. So he went in there and said, I'm not boxing. I'm just brawling.
Throwing down. Yeah, we throwing down.
Yeah, and people don't give enough credit for him for winning that fight because this is a guy that actually beat him before. And he was only, 13, 14 fights in, and he's fighting his direct rival in his 14th fight, someone that's undefeated and has been knocking out everybody he fought to. That is a very dangerous fight that most fighters won't do. They don't do that like today. I mean, look at Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. You know, these guys are direct rivals, but they won't put them together to fight each other this soon. They want to wait and build it up and stuff like that. Like, they won't do it.
James Kelly, he said Fury's a boxing prodigy. He knocked out Deontay Wilder down with a body shot. Fury is a professor. He is going to tire AJ out. Fury is an awesome fighter. That's accurate right there. I agree 100% with James Kelly. I can't wait to do how Tyson Fury will be.
Nah, I think you can't. All
you
we
can't
can do
simulate Tyson Fury. That's what it is.
All we can do is predict. I don't really know because my prediction is based on what I've seen, but based on Fury is going to fight at his level of the fighter that night.
That's how I feel.
You know, people go by, oh, we heard in sparring. I never go by that. You know, I heard they sparred or this. You know, I got Fury got knocked down by this fighter, or it's the same thing with AJ. AJ heard rumors of him getting knocked down. Yo, but guess what? He's fighting high-level fighters, guys like Povetkin. Yo, the Povetkin fight, since we're talking about it, another impressive fight. Because this is when Povetkin against Povetkin against AJ. Okay. AJ was losing early. He dropped his card. I never seen him drop his, lead hand, and now he's throwing the jab from down here. That was something new.
Exactly, yeah, and that's why I say that a lot of people don't see that wrinkle. And he was working from the outside again. He was he was hitting that jab to the body, and was coming over that over right, and that was capitalizing. And this and I also said that on my breakdown of what I think he may do. And this is what I mean. I don't think that he's gonna stop Tyson Fury to the body. I think that his approach is gonna be is to work the body and then land those headshots. Which I feel like Deontay Wilder should have done to Tyson Fury. Is if you, let's say in the first fight when you just couldn't catch his head, and so just work the body is right there. Just tap that body, throw that straight right to the solar plex.
Right.
Bring those arms down. That's how you slow them down. So I think that Anthony Joshua, with his his peoples, Klitschko is his friend. He's gonna tell him what he sees in there, slow him down, control the feint, and I think that he's gonna have a good night in my opinion if he controls the feint, he controls the movement, and that's by going to the body. Yeah,
there's so many different outcomes with that fight, man. It's so many different ones. I can see it being a knockout for either side. I can see it being a you know, it could be a controversial split decision type of thing. You know, I don't know. I don't know. I could see dominant scorecard. It's so many different outcomes for that fight, and that's why it's so important that it happens. And I just hope that the both of them is at they tip-top shape, and I think they will be. I think they will be when it finally goes down, because Fury will be in there with a real opponent that he got to come in and be real serious with. And AJ is known to be responsible and stuff like that, and come into fights right and prepared. So I think I just hope it goes down. I don't know where they're planning on having it. I would like to go see that one live. I would love to see the heavyweight undisputed fight go, whoever it ended up being against, whether it was Wilder involved with it. I always said that I want to go see the undisputed heavyweight matchup.
You going to Saudi Arabia?
Listen, man, I'm going to try. Yo,
Arabian night.
Listen, I'm gonna try. I did look at the tickets the last time they were there. I mean, but that fight wasn't. It's not, as far as the pay, is nowhere near what the.
But I checked the Saudi Arabia. They said that it's still no restriction. No. There's still restriction from U.S.
Oh yeah,
UK people to go to the Saudi Arabia.
All right. Well, it is what it is. I mean, certain things I'm willing to spend some extra money for, and that would be one of those things that I would want to do. I booked to go to England the date that Joshua was supposed to fight Gerald Miller. Mm-hmm. Because originally it was supposed to be Dillian White rematch, and it didn't work out. Gerald Miller came around, and then they ended up switching it to New York, and I still took the trip out to London, hung out, but I didn't get to see the fight. But yeah, I'm willing to do it, and hopefully we'll see what happens.
Let's go. Oh, James, boxing wave. You're right. Styles make fight, and Fury is a technician because he's for all styles. Don't be surprised if it's a draw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any outcome, man.
If you have it with you have it right here in your head. Give me your pound for pound list.
All right, so I did want earlier this year.
Strata one.
I will put Canelo at number 1. I got Bud number 2. Those are my 2 definite ones. I have to throw the names out there first and then maybe reorder them some. Like I know I have Teofimo Lopez up there somewhere now that he won, and he's undisputed. Well, kind of undisputed. I don't want people to say undisputed sometimes.
Undisputed. Look at it. Look at a picture box wave. Look at this picture box wave. Look at that.
Yeah. Undisputed.
Look at that.
Yeah,
morally undisputed.
Yeah, morally undisputed. Yeah, I have him up there. I still have Usyk up there pretty high.
Okay.
I got who else I got? I got Jamel Charlo up there somewhere. I do have Errol in there. I have Josh Taylor is in there already for me.
Yeah, he's
He's closest to the end, and I have to have Estrada.
Okay.
On paper, he's pound for pound.
Yeah, I think you got all the names that I got.
Yeah.
I got Canelo.
You know what? I really hate not putting Chocolatito in my list, man. I don't like that. Yo, he looked on paper. Chocolatito looked good, man.
We got to go with performances too, though. With performances,
Yeah, but a loss is a loss.
A loss is a loss. I got Canelo 1. 2, I think I had way.
Okay. I skipped him. No, I have him at number 3. I'm bugging. I have him at my number 3 right now. He's right after, but I know I was forgetting someone. I'm sorry. He's at my number 3, and then everybody else is. I could rearrange that. Those are my top 3.
I got Ioka. I got Ioka. I think I got him. Let me. I got the list right here. Hold on, because I gotta take somebody out. And I'm taking Jose Ramirez out because I did have Jose Ramirez.
Oh yeah, nah. I need. I
But
got
I
Josh
told
Taylor
when I
there.
did the list, I told everybody, but this fight is gonna kick somebody out from the list. You know, because then the Jose Ramirez, who they gonna fight Jose Ramirez and Josh Taylor. So now it's not only that these are great fights, it's now pound for pound fighters fighting pound for pound fighters. And you
Right.
notice that a lot of pound for pound fighters, they're on the list, but they haven't fought that other pound for pound fighters. At least Canelo Alvarez, he fought Triple G. That was the best fight and pound for pound caliber of fighters. And
Right.
Chagra Chocolatito too. A lot of people have them both. Right. So this was my early
Okay.
pound for pound list. I think I can't
Canelo.
in the bottom
Bud. Those top 5 is who I have in my top 5. Maybe a little different in the order, but
Yeah.
those are my top 5 for sure. And I think everything after that is kind of like debatable. Or I can't see what you got at number 10. Is
number 10 is supposed to be Jose Ramirez.
Okay.
But I got I'm changing it around. I'm changing it around. I'm still gonna keep. I think I'm moving Estrada to number 6. And
Okay.
I'm gonna move Estrada number 6 and
And you're gonna move Jamel Charlo now.
8 Ioka, 9 Taylor, and 10 Errol Spence.
Who do you think wins between Ioka and Estrada?
Estrada.
I think that's really hard to call.
All right. If I say Estrada right now, I'm probably living the moment. It's a tough one.
I don't know. I'm not even going to give you a name because I'm only asking you to see where you were going with it. But I honestly don't know. I honestly really need to see them fight because I don't know. I have no idea, and I don't even know who's going to wear if they fight, if they have to, because Ron Visai is going to be the mandatory again, and he's 1-1 with Estrada, you know, and I personally believe that, you know, if he didn't fight as a righty in that rematch they had, he possibly would have won in the rematch again, you know. So I don't know. That's why this division is the hardest one to call to see who's the best, because I still don't know. That fight didn't answer any questions for me. It didn't. You know, I just know that they're both really good still. There was no clear winner for me, you know?
Oh, man.
I don't know.
The trilogy should happen.
You got 4 top dogs in one division. Like,
I think that if the trilogy does happen, I think they'll make way more money. I think they double the purse. They should, man.
They should do it, but can they do it? Like, you know, with an actual mandatory being right there, and you know, does Chocolatito really want to do it? You know, does he want to do it? You know, I don't know. I don't know.
The thing with my list is that all these guys are unified or undisputed, or has climbed. So let's say people criticize me because I have Earl too low. But who should I bump them? Who should I bump? If I have Earl 10, where should I bump who?
I feel like Errol is in a lot of high.
I think Jamel Charlo is upper. I think Jamel Charlo is upper than Earl.
Well, I said Jamel Charlo was over Errol too, and some people in my list had a problem with that.
Yeah, they got a problem with that. I got Jamel Charlo over Errol Spence.
You know, Errol beat. I don't know. I just feel like people took the Sean Porter win and they turned it into something else. Like, I think when fighters beat certain fighters, now they're gonna hype up certain, like, because remember before that fight, and this is coming from Errol Spence hardcore fans.
Yeah,
Errol Spence hardcore fans thought Errol was gonna knock out Sean Porter. And I know going in that fight, I was like, yo, bro, Errol is not knocking out Sean Porter. I think Errol's going to win the fight, but he's not knocking out Sean Porter. In fact, this is going to be like his toughest fight. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happened. You know, and you could make an argument that Ugas in some points in his fight with Sean Porter was doing a better job than Errol did. You could at least make the argument because
So we go
that
by
was another
performances
good
as
fight.
well. Got to go by performances as well.
Especially because he didn't get credit for the knockdown that we was just talking about. You know? So again, you know, I think Errol is the one guy in pound for pound conversation that is there. Well, him and Josh Taylor both accomplished the most. They're both holding 2 titles. But I think with Josh, I think at least he won the Super 6 tournament. So I think he actually accomplished the less out of everybody else that's there on this list. But people will always add him. But if you really think about it logically, he doesn't have as much as a lot of these fighters on his list as far as accomplishments.
Yeah, I think it's look. Of course, when it comes to with pound for pound is opinion, but it also got to be some valid opinion. Got to be some understanding, some concrete understanding of why. See, with me is Errol Spence, Josh Taylor.
Yeah.
Should I put him over Josh Taylor? Josh Taylor has a lineal belt. He's a unified champion as well, and his resume is up to par.
Yeah.
You know, should I put him above? Should I put him above? Uwe? Are you gonna put him over Usyk that's been undisputed? Are you gonna put him over Teofimo Lopez right now? That morally to me is undisputed.
Yeah.
So I think everybody on that list should be good, man. They should be happy and should be good.
Yeah, I think he's
with any
on the list. I see him on number 5 in a lot of like the ESPNs of the world. I think the Ring magazine might have him up there too, like higher. You know, and then I seen some atrocious list out there that had him like at number 1.
Shit. I seen a list that got Gary Russell Jr. I seen a list that got Gary Russell.
Oh damn, though. If Gary Russell ever watch this, he gonna be like, "Yo,
hey, Gary, one of my favorite fighters. One of my favorite fighters.
I love Gary, but
one of
he
my
was
favorite
on a
fighters.
pound for pound list.
He was on somebody's pound for pound. I ain't even gonna say.
Dude, he comes in and fights one time a year. He just fight his mandatory, and then that's it.
It was good, JBN.
He ain't unifying. He ain't doing nothing extra. Like, yo, I'm just gonna fight this number 1 guy, the guy that whoever it is. It might be somebody that it is always someone that we're not asking to see you fight. He's not giving us anything more than that.
Yeah, man. A list with Shakur and Tank.
Oh, I did see a list with Shakur on it.
Yo, probably that was the same list.
I seen a list. No, it wasn't a list. I was watching his interview with Gilly.
Gilly the Kid.
Yeah. And I love their podcast. They got a great show. But
yeah, he has a great show. I like his energy.
Yeah, I love Gilly. Like, this is not a thing, but he had
and he knows boxing.
He had Haney on there. And he came at Haney. What do you feel about not being pound for pound? And I'm like, bro. Can we just get to the next question, bro? Like, we y'all moving a little too fast for me, man. Like, like I know you want to hype the kid up, but let's not get crazy, you know? Nah.
That's whack. And then they'll have the guy. Then they'll have another guest, and then they have to, you know, be nice
pound
and
for pound. What's up? What do you feel about pound for pound? I'm like
pound for pounds.
I don't know yet, man. There's a lot of other people there, you know. I mean, listen, if Tank, and the thing with Tank is situation gotta be like one of the weirdest ones out of everybody in the sport for me, because
I think they're trying to milk. I think they're trying to milk Tank. I think that they have.
Son ain't right.
This is just my opinion. I think that they have all the confidence, you know, skill, but professionalism. I think I think they feel like we got to juice this guy out right before he turns to a broner.
I'll take it even further. I think he might not be as hungry as he was, and I think he's reached his peak, or I think his peak was in the Pedraza fight, and after that fight, he might have fell off a little bit.
I don't think he's special though. I think he's just giving us 70%.
And that fight, I thought he was special. And that win, I thought he was special. I said, okay, this kid is like, you know, he went from prospect to, you know, all right, this could be the next big thing overnight. And then after that, they started feeding him these other guys from 126. And I'm like, yo, wait, he just proved that he's better than that. Why is he going to keep fighting these level guys?
It's that PBC
and then
stuff, man.
He started looking a little bad in some of these lower, because the Pedraza fight to me is still the best win. I know he fought Leo Santa Cruz, and Santa Cruz has definitely accomplished a lot more. But Pedraza's fighting at 140 right now. You know, the Pedraza was a legit guy at 130, and accomplished fight is at 130. I'm not talking about overall. We know Leo did his thing. He won championships in 118, 122, 126. Cool. But at 130, I like the Pedraza win. I personally like the Pedraza win more. Not saying Pedraza overall is a better fighter.
Now, do you agree? Do you agree with me with the middleweight division that has been abandoned by the champions? I do feel like Charlo is talking about Benavidez and Canelo. Triple G is talking about Canelo. Demetrius Andre was talking about Billy Joe Saunders. So these champions in the middleweight division, their eye set is at guys at 168. Yeah. And this is a prestige division in the sport of boxing. Do you feel like the champions are abandoning their own status at middleweight?
I agree with you 100%, man. I don't know what happened, but I can tell you maybe just 2 years ago, if not 3, that the division was stacked, bro. Like 168 was dead because all the 168 guys like Andre Ward went up, Froch retired. It was kind of dead for a minute, you know. Then you had 160. You had all of these guys. You had Triple G, you had Canelo, you had Jamal Charlo, Andre. You know, you had a lot of people, and then I don't know. Like, they're not unifying. No one is unifying. At all. I don't know what's going on, you know.
And and everybody know, man, I'm a Boo Boo fan, Boo Boo Andre. And
I am too.
I'm happy that he's fighting. I would have loved to see a unification bout at this time, 33 years old. Charlo, Demetrius Andre. I think, to be honest, Charlo Demetrius Andre is the most over-marinated fight there is in boxing, because they've been talking since 2014.
Dude, I've been making videos about them since 2014. Bro, I don't know. I made a video, and I hate that. I shouldn't even keep this video up. I made a video about Andre so many years ago addressing the whole Rock Nation thing, and it just happened to be like my most viewed video at that time for whatever reason, and people still watch it like as if it's relevant to what today is going on. And I'm like, dude, I made this video in 2014. Leave me alone. Like, this is after the Rock Nation. This is after the Rock Nation.
What happened to your boy Boo Boo?
Yeah, this is after the Showtime. I mean, Charlo and Laura thing didn't work out. So, okay, I addressed it then, but I don't still stand by how I felt about back then. But I'm a big Boo Boo fan, and he just never got a shot, man. He just never got it. And I'm not sure if it's going to happen because Triple G doesn't want to fight him. And not even Charlo. Charlo doesn't have, he said it on the Boxing Voice. He has no interest of fighting Demetrius Andre.
Yo, I would have thought that. I would have thought that he went to the zone. I was like, yeah, now it's time he's going to get. And of course, he was going to get the Billy Joe Saunders, and Billy Joe Saunders F'd that up. And that's the reason why I didn't want Billy Joe Saunders to get that Canelo fight. I didn't want him to get that
rewarded. It's like you're getting rewarded to not fight this guy when you pop 30 and then you didn't even you just solely just disappeared and went up in weight.
Gave up the belt.
Yeah.
He's going to be fighting Liam Williams. He's going to be fighting Liam Williams. It's a good fight. Probably, the best fight that he can have right now.
It's a little better than what we've been getting because there's some kind of, at least he's fighting a guy that has like a knockout, threat to him. That's a knockout threat, but I don't know. Like Andre, I just need him to fight one dude that I really want to see. And he's pushing, like, I think he's only like 34, 35 years old already. I'm kind of worried, like, yo, we're never going to really get the Charlo fight, like, ever. Like, these two are going to retire and never, not one Charlo injury, not Jamel or Jamal. Like, we're never going to get it. That's a problem with boxing because that should be forbidding. Like, the fact that those two had that much beef showing up at your press conference and you're not going to fight this dude. And I love the Charlo twins. Those are my guys. But, like, you're not going to fight Andre ever? Like, I don't know, man. It's crazy.
Man, last before we go, what you feel about the lightweight division?
I feel to me, T.O. is top dog now. He's top dog. Like, whatever people could say what they want.
Matter of fact, let me give you this. What do you think about that? Dev got 2 supposed to be mandatories, but the WBC is not ordering those mandatories, and now he's going to be fighting Jorge Linares. What is the WBC? Because my issue is really with the WBC. I feel like WBC, especially in the lightweight division, they set no rules. It's like anything goes. Yeah,
they screwed up this whole They screwed everything up with the franchise title because it wasn't necessary. It just wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
Loma fought what he was supposed to fight. Like, he fought the 2 people in the same order. And I've been saying to people for the last 2 years, dude, he went and fought Luke Campbell for the belt. And then he went and fought Teofimo Lopez after, who Lopez beat Comey. That's exactly what he was supposed to do. Now, as far as Haney, I like the Linares fight, bro. I like that. That's the fighters he's supposed to be fighting, Linares,
I got you, Ice and Ice.
I don't know if Linares has still got it. I mean, I don't know. I know he did get knocked out early when he moved up to 140. But he did pick up a couple of wins. I like the Linares fight because Linares is a very, very skilled boxer. And he's much better than anyone. Even if he's past it a little bit, he's still way better than anyone that Haney has fought. And if Haney is not as good as a lot of people claim he is, he will lose that fight. Mm-hmm. If Haney is just a little bit off of what you think he is, he will lose that fight. And it's not like Haney's like this crazy knockout artist. I mean, Linares, people feel that he's chinny because he's been stopped. So I get that aspect of it, but I like the Linares. I really like that fight. I think that is the proper fight for Devin Haney right now. And it's a better fight to me than Luke Campbell with Ryan Garcia. I think that's a more credible win. Yes, I do. I think Linares is a champion that defended his title for a certain amount of fights. Maybe, yeah. I mean, I think Luke might be a little bit more durable than Linares, but Linares beat Luke. And Linares was a proven champion, and he had a good amount of title defenses at 135. Like, he's a legit champion.
No, I said this is a perfect step up for Devin Haney. I said perfect step up for Devin Haney.
Yeah.
The only thing I said that the best available opponent was Loma because now they was going at it.
Oh, so yeah. I saw that little Akin Barak interview where he's like, "Oh, he wants to fight me now. He just lost. I don't want to." I was like, "Nah, dog. Nah.
That's the fight."
Yeah, if you have the opportunity to fight Loma now, why wouldn't you take it?
Exactly. So I say that was the best fight available for Haney out of every opposition, but this is the perfect step up fight. I do think that the belt. I think the belt is overshadowing everything. I think the belt is too much pressure. It's unwarranted pressure, in my opinion. Because if you take out the WBC from him, they actually matching him up the way they should.
Yeah,
and he's getting pressure because he has that strap. Vergil Ortiz is not getting pressure. Boots Ennis not getting pressure. Even Shakur Stevenson, look who he fought. Like, he not getting pressure because he don't got that. Because once you got a title, you got responsibilities.
Right.
So with that title, it's no time for you to move like a prospect now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
for me, in reality,
You gotta hold
Jorge
on to that thing. Yeah.
exactly. So for me, you got that title, go get Loma. But in reality, I know the Jorge Linares is a perfect step up fight for Devin Haney because now he's entering the
Absolutely.
top 10 ranks.
Yeah. No, I love the fight, and I hope it happens. I mean, listen, if Loma was available and they were to make that fight, of course that would have been better. But as far as anybody else that's available, I would say Linares is number one. Outside of the the champion who was Teofimo Lopez, outside of Ryan Garcia, who is the fight that we want to see you fight. I think Linares is better. It's better than Fortuna. It's better than Luke Campbell to me, and I'm down for it. So,
all right, man. Yo, my brother.
Yo.
Boxing Wave. Everybody subscribe to Boxing Wave. Back from vacation. I don't know if you got a 10 and stuff like looking golden out here. Got the wave, the best wave out here in the YTPC. So yeah, everybody subscribe to Boxing Wave, man. Thank you for joining me. About to shut this thing down. Everybody, man, God bless each and every one of y'all. Y'all already know God first, everything second. Fight plus survive equals true champions. All right, peace out, everybody.
Peace, y'all. Good night, man.
Good night, my brother.